Will a movie about a snail racing spin out and crash? Or will it have a photo flash finish with the likes of Toy Story and Frozen? We shall see. So Turbo is a movie about a snail that through a series of events gains super speed. Stars Ryan Reynolds playing Theo, the main character. Theo wants to get into the Indy 500. And that's about it for the main plot. He uses the cliched, he is a dreamer and everyone says he's crazy for his dream trope. Then when he's at the worst point of the plot, about 20 minutes in, he gets his powers and wants to follow his dream now and prove the doubters wrong. But oh no, there are roadblocks stopping him. And unsurprisingly, he follows his dreams and wins in the end. Spoilers. You've heard all this crap before because this concept is basically in every movie for kids. The only cliche used more than the impossible dream follower is the liar revealed cliche, which is luckily not in this movie. Alright, what's good about the movie? Samuel frickin' Jackson's in it, so that's a good thing right off the bat. The cast is full of good actors: Paul Giamatti, Maya Rudolph, and Louis Guzman. All good actors, in my opinion. All the other performances are pretty good. Ken Jeong gets a little annoying, and Snoop Dogg is not an actor, and it shows. Other good things, the animation is all really good. The neon lights look especially really good, and his imagination sequences, those are very well done. Generally the movie kept my attention, which is what movies are supposed to. It doesn't have the Hobbit effect of I'm looking at my watch every now and then. There's actually one scene that managed to touch the cockles of my heart. The scene of the two brothers sadly eating a taco after a day of failure. Both of the brothers have an aura of sadness, disappointment, and worry about them. But when they start to eat the tacos, they both feel a little better, and it shows really well with the animation. They look at each other and have a look that says, "It's gonna be okay, brother." And that about does it for good. DreamWorks is really hit or miss for me. And this one is just a miss. It wasn't a huge miss, but a miss nonetheless. So what's wrong with the movie? Well, honestly, it plays out like so many other movies. It just becomes boring. It's just so hackneyed in general. During the movie, I started to predict where scenes would go at the beginning of them, and half the time I was right. The other half, my predictions were honestly more interesting than whatever happened. That's not a good sign. So there was a dilemma about money in the movie, so there was a scene about selling something important in the movie. One of the characters wants to do it, and the other doesn't. So I thought that one would sell it without the other's permission and there would be conflict. But nope. Instead, random side characters give him the money with basically no motivation. What I predicted would have been more interesting and more complex, and they couldn't even do that. Another thing is the movie is stupidly obvious. And yes, it's a kid's movie, and I will talk about that later, but it's so bad with some things. The sail's name is Theo, and the human's name is Tio. They both have brothers that doubt them. And they have crazy, unrealistic dreams. They're so similar, it's almost like they're parallels of each other, and we're supposed to connect them and know that they will be a team. I mean, like, come on. A few other problems are with the other characters. The villain, honestly, isn't really evil. Also, when I first saw the guy who eventually became the villain in the first 5 minutes of the movie, I'm like, he's gonna be the villain. And lo and behold, before the reveal, I was correct. Also not a good sign. Anyway, he's a racer and his goal is to win. He talks to the snail and says that underdogs don't usually win and he wants to win another trophy. And then the evil music plays. I sat there just thinking, this is the reveal? That's freaking weak. That's freaking Shark Week. This guy has a legitimate motivation to want to do that isn't evil. And that's our villain, ladies and gentlemen, a guy that just wants to win. What a jerk, he wants to win in a race. That's whole point is to win. He's so evil. And all he does for the rest of the movie is try and win. And a few sportsmanship errors, which another problem is the brother is a douche without much of a reason to be so. And near the end, they could have had a legitimate argument, between the brothers that they both had good points, because I was thinking of what he should say to Turbo in the movie, and he didn't. He just said stupid things, instantly made him wrong, because you can't have gray morality in a kids movie. Can't do that ever. So this is where I'm going to rant about kids movies. Kids movies can be great, but recently I've been noticing that they're just there so you can plop your kid in front of the TV so the TV can be the parent for a couple hours. While you take a peyote trip, and after the Elmo's done cooking s'mores from his oven legs, you're done with your trip, waking up in your neighbor's kitty litter box with 3 turds in your hair and strangely a copy of War and Peace with every page that doesn't deal with the war ripped out in hand. All the while, you're wearing nothing but your Uncle Steven's pair of overalls that has wood varnish stains on the crotch and a brick of Nazi gold, still covered in blood from the Nazis shot 6 years ago during a trip to Brazil that he claimed was vacation, but you're pretty sure he left because he didn't want to go to your cousin Courtney's wedding, which is a bore except for when that cult decided that Grandpa was the Antichrist and tried to scourge him with 2 forks and a salad tong, and a Christmas stocking with 2 pennies and 17 Sacagawea dollars stuffed in it. What was I talking about? Just seeing your kids in front of the TV to babysit them. You know why people still remember Toy Story and other Pixar movies? Because they treat their audience with respect. They don't have just bones and pictures on the screen for half an hour. They challenge their audience with ideas worth sharing. One of the predictions I was wrong about is when Turbo is sprinting forward, he starts to hear his heartbeat in his ears, and his vision begins to blur. I honestly thought his power was starting to adversely affect him. Maybe this power that was supposed to be a blessing to him to get his dream may actually damage him, meaning that his dream may not actually be the best thing for him. Don't go thinking that a kid won't get that sometimes dreams that you have may not be that important or even good for you, because Up did it, and that movie was well received by audiences of all ages. You know why this movie really got me upset enough to write this long-ass paragraph? Because it spoon-fed you everything and didn't even really try. Everything is predictable and doesn't really ask the audience to think in the slightest. Characters outright just say their motivation to the screen. No, kids are smart and they can understand pretty complicated things. Heck, Wall-E has a very simple but deep line, which is, I don't want to survive, I want to live. It's a brilliant line, and it's delivered very well, and it's so simple but profound, and I remember I saw kids talking about that line once, and they understood it. Okay, this is a really long rant, but I guess that's it for the review, besides the score. Alright, for the enjoyability, unless you're younger than the age of 4, you're not going to get a lot out of this, so I'll give it a 5. And the quality score, I'll give it a 4. It's not quality, but it's not that bad, so thus the score. So, a 4.5 overall, which using the score thing I stole from my friend Brady, visit Brady.com. I did modify his score system a little. I'm a bit more positive than him. Alright, that's it for the ShyGuy review, where I went a tad off the deep end in a couple of places. Hey, that's not cool, man. You're a jerk. Okay, yeah, fine. Anyway, the next review is going to be a movie that I've seen before. Mean Girls. You go, Glen Coco. And remember to comment what you want me to watch next. Good night.